a run club in Bali has had its founder kicked out of the country because they decided not to invite people from actual Indonesia into their events. Now, this is one of the founders here, and this is the run club in question. It was originally set up for digital nomads, which kind of makes sense. If you're a digital nomad in Bali, you want to get to know people, come to our run club, and it's a really good way of doing that. But the problem is that when local people tried to get in touch, they were like, I want to come too, they basically were cancelling their tickets and saying, no, you can't come. The problem is that when they tried to apologize afterwards, it was clearly in reflection, because they weren't clear, they weren't respectful when they were cancelling bookings. They were just cancelling them. And if you were already doing this because you wanted to keep to the integrity of the event, then what will be really obvious is that you would be like, excuse me, as to our terms and conditions, this is what it is, this is why it's important, please do come to another event. But that wasn't the case. They were just saying no and cancelling, or saying it's not for you and cancelling. The screen grabs of some of the conversations that they were having were clear that this is a bunch of out-of-towners exploiting a country, trying to create an experience, an event, and a community in a country without inviting the locals. Could you imagine in England or the United States where I'll be like, oh, I'm hosting a club, but you're like, you can't come? That would never happen.
This viral run club in Bali has gone from social media sensation to the center of a national scandal because Indonesian authorities say Bali locals were being excluded, and now 2 Dutch organizers are banned from returning to Indonesia by its Director General for Immigration. Entourage Bali built a huge following with its silent disco runs through Canggu, attracting hundreds of digital nomads and tourists. They shared videos on their social media, but then local Indonesians began posting screenshots like these. Are you from Bali? By the way, are you Indonesian? Yes, I am. That explains why you're not accepted, because it's an automatic system and we're a platform for digital nomads. Then more people came forward, some claiming they were rejected after saying they were Indonesian, but foreign applicants appeared to be accepted. One comparison that went viral appears to show a German applicant immediately approved, while an Indonesian applicant received a message saying access couldn't be offered. Other locals said they were simply ghosted after revealing they were Indonesian. Now, Indonesia's immigration agency says it's investigating allegations the event violated immigration rules and discriminated against local residents. The backlash exploded across Indonesian social media. Many argued foreigners were building exclusive communities on an island where locals themselves couldn't participate. The organizers apologized, saying an automated admission system had incorrectly rejected some Indonesian phone numbers, creating unintended bias. They announced they were suspending all events. Indonesia's immigration agency says the 2 Dutch organizers are under investigation for suspected immigration violations, and officials said the pair left the country before investigators could question them. They've now been placed on the immigration blacklist, preventing them from re-entering Indonesia. The controversy comes as Bali pushes what's called quality tourism, cracking down on foreigners who authorities say are working, organizing businesses, or creating commercial content without the proper permits.
Hi everyone, welcome to yet another video. It's Ndagira here. So today we're going to be talking about something that I've always been sharing on this platform about Palm people going to different countries and always coming with this colonial mindset that they can do anything and just get away with it. But this time around, and I love how the world is actually changing, that they are no longer in a position to just do whatever and not face consequences. So as you've seen, this is a group of Palm people that decided to do a run marathon, a run group, and decided to not include the locals, and that is in Indonesia. And now it turns out that the organizers, that put this whole thing together have been banned from Indonesia. And actually, allegedly, I've heard that they actually ran away before they could get that ban in their passport. Can you imagine the entitlement that some of these people really move with? And it's not the first time, like I said, that I've been sharing about this. This thing has also been happening in a lot of African countries, a lot of Caribbean countries. You see when they go to, for example, coastal places in, let's say, African countries or Caribbean countries, and they want to take over the coast and be the ones to access those things because they feel like they are entitled to it. They think they are still in their time of taking over everything and really like just getting away with it. And I love that it's no longer happening. They are facing consequences. They are literally facing consequences, and I love it. Guys, listen to what people are actually saying about, this whole run in Indonesia. Yeah, even what Indonesians are actually saying about this. Yeah, come back and let me know your thoughts on it.
Number one thing I dislike about Bali is the type of tourist it attracts. I seriously don't understand why some people come all the way to Bali and treat it as their personal playground that they can mold into whatever they want. You're in a beautiful island surrounded by beautiful people and a beautiful culture. And instead of experiencing all of that, you decide to run an event that excludes locals from it. The Entourage running group is currently under fire for running a silent disco event and excluding locals from joining it. They had this excuse that the event was for digital nomads nomads, so locals weren't invited. But imagine you go to someone's house as a guest, because yes, as a tourist, you are a guest in someone's country, and you decide to run an event, and you tell the owner of the house, no, sorry, you have to leave the house because you're not actually invited to this event, even though we're hosting it at your house. Like, are you serious? And as a digital nomad myself, I'm sorry, but one of the main reasons I travel is not to stay in some digital nomad bubble and only meet other nomads. I travel to experience other cultures, learn from them, grow from them, and to meet friends with locals. It's funny because when my husband and I first came to Bali a couple of months ago, we joined a couple of entourage events because we wanted to make friends. And in those events, the first thing I noticed as an Asian woman was that I was one of like 2 Asian people in those events. And this is an event that's run in Asia. The fact that I'm a minority made me feel pretty uncomfortable. Also the fact that there were 0 Indonesians. So we stopped going. And I remember at some point, I was still a part of these WhatsApp groups. There was a Dutch party and it felt so exclusive to the point that people were asking like, are we invited even though we aren't Dutch? And this is a Dutch party in Indonesia, a country that the Netherlands colonized for more than 300 years. Like, doesn't that sound tone deaf to you? What is this, Colonialism 2.0? Anyway, the point of all this, guys, is that as tourists, we should be coming to Bali with respect for the island and its people and its culture, just like you would as a guest in someone's home. And to those foreigners that are staying in Bali longer term, you have an even bigger responsibility to respect the culture and the people that were here long before you decided that Bali is your utopia. Because if you come all the way to Bali just to recreate the same bubble that you were living in your home country, I'm sorry, but, and this might be harsh, but travel is not for you. Just stay home.
The expats in Bali are so unhinged. Outside of a gentrification issue, they are breaking the law. So we all know Bali right now is popping. And it's a really popular travel destination, but now it's starting to get to a point where digital nomads, expat community are wanting to stay there permanently. And according to the Indonesian Travel and Tourism Agency Board, ASITA, they have been observing that foreigners have been using rental accommodations as an office space. Not only that, they have been running tours and travel services around Bali. There are 2 main issues. One is these digital nomads are using these properties that are designed specifically for tourist accommodations as formal offices, which is violating the premises use. The second thing is that these digital nomads are using tourist and sociocultural visas to conduct business activities. Like I'm flabbergasted. You cannot be doing that in someone else's country. ASITA is suggesting that some foreigners are even working themselves in roles such as guiding, running, and facilitating tours and retreats. Indonesian law is very clear that anyone on a tourist or sociocultural visa cannot conduct income-generating work while visiting the country. Y'all are mad crazy for this one. But it's okay, because your day is coming. The government sees y'all and sees what y'all doing, so you will be in an Indonesian prison very soon if you don't quit playing games in other people's countries.
Hi, I'm a Bali digital nomad, and I only hang out with people. I live in Bali for 10 years. I can say makasih, summer. I love Bali. Bali's my home. I'm gonna build more villas around here. Yes, I love to bring home Bali dogs, but Bali people only come to my home if you dare to clean it. I didn't choose Bali. Bali chose me. I don't eat Indonesian food. It's too spicy. Yeah, Bali is so nice. You don't need to use helmet. You don't need to use clothes. You don't need to use your brain. Kan? Najis kau?
Yeah, that is what people are actually saying. Like I say, this is not something that is only happening in Indonesia. This is something that is global, literally global. And what pisses a lot of people off is when these people come into our countries, they don't want to learn the language. They don't want to understand how people move or the culture. They still want, us, in our countries to still assimilate to them when they even come into our spaces. And that is insane. That is insane. There's videos I shared before where Palm people go to coastal places, like I said, and then they complain about the dressing code of African people. They talk about how Africans are making noise for them when these Africans are literally singing in their traditional, African songs, tones, if I may say, and they feel irritated, like, why are those Africans, like, making noise for us?
So I don't actually have a problem with the term digital nomads. But what does bother me is when somebody moves to a country because it's more affordable, makes it their home, and doesn't do anything about learning the language, the culture, or integrating with the community. I was just in Bali and I met this guy who has been living there for 8 years and he still needed Google Translate to order nasi goreng. It's a bit of a hot take. I feel that this applies to Singapore as well. I've seen fitness clubs, run clubs, and expat communities, people who have lived here for almost 10 years and haven't made any efforts to integrate with the community or make local friends. If you do move to a different country and make it your home, don't just see how you can benefit from a place. Be part of it.
So once I had this friend, well, ex-friend now, one day asked me if they could come over to my house. And I was like, yeah, girl, of course. So they come over and they're immediately like, do you mind if I invite some people over? What's going on? And she was like, yeah, like I just have a couple friends that I just want to like hang out with. Do you mind if I invite them over? I'm like, I guess, like if it's not gonna be too long, whatever. So I just go back to doing whatever I was doing. And then she was like, oh, do you mind leaving? And I was like, huh? And she's like, yeah, I don't really know these friends. It would be a little awkward. Do you mind like if you just dip out for a little while I hang out with them? Naturally, just like what you're thinking, I was like, if you want to hang out with friends, why not just do it at your house? Like, why am I in it? He's like, oh, my house has a lot of drama right now. Mind if I just like use your place and chill here with my friends, excluding you in your own house? I think you know where I'm going with this. I'm in Bali right now, and some of the kindest people I've ever met in my life. I've just genuinely really loved my time here. There were these Western dudes that started a run club here in Bali, and they excluded Indonesian people from being a part of the run club because they say it's only for digital nomads. And at the end of the day, if you're gonna travel to a place, do it for the right reasons. Do it to experience the culture, do it to connect with people, but do it respectfully and remember that you're in someone else's house. The colonizer mentality, like the nerve is insane to me. That just sounds like modern day colonization to me. You're gonna come to someone else's home and tell them that they can't join a space that you're creating in their home.
This is a serious problem because Bali is, weirdly enough, more popular than Indonesia itself. We have 17,000 islands, y'all. This is the biggest archipelago on the planet. Indonesians, we always welcome foreigners. You know, if you go to Bali, there's a lot of expats there who live there, lots of content creators who make a living over there. If you are given that kind of respect and welcoming from the people of the country, you should return it.
The question is always like, why can't they just stay in their countries and, put up these clubs where they can enjoy? And in this world of today that we are actually seeing, where Western governments are literally kicking out, African people of color from their countries, and then you see these people have the audacity to still want to bring that mentality in, people's countries, like, hey, we are having an event, but no locals are allowed. But you're in these people's country, you're on the land of, these people that you don't want to invite into your club. It's just insane. And even if, yes, it was for the nomads, you mean there were no nomads that are, Indonesian? Like they could not attend, even though they were still, nomads. And that word, of expats really gets to me. Like when it's Palm people, it's expats. When, it's people of color or, African people, black people, then they are immigrants. Like those terms really need to be changed. And, I feel like these people really get away a lot with things at times, because the fact that they actually had to, put up this run and it actually had people really shows that they are really getting away with a lot of things, working in other people's countries without permits because they just feel like, yeah, I am white and I'm entitled to it. It's insane. So I love that Bali and, or say Indonesia is banning and giving an example to such people that, hey, if you come into our countries and you're being disrespectful, discriminative, being racist, you might as well just get out and never come back to our country. And that's the energy these people can actually understand. So yeah, Bali is setting an example and other countries must follow suit. These people need to get, a reality check that they can no longer just move around and put orders and do these things or be racist, be discriminative to people in their countries. They should do that in their Western nations and not to the countries they actually, board planes, buy tickets and go to. It's ridiculous. It's freaking ridiculous. But yeah, guys, that is it really in this video. Let me know what you think about, this act of Indonesia. And yeah, that is it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in another video. Bye.
Thank you for staying tuned and thank you for watching those clips. Thank you for being part of this family from the onset. You are one of the reasons why we never give up and we keep pushing. And we promise we never stop bringing you insights about African, American, and African in general, and about the culture, history, and events and matters that matters within the United States of America. Now, you just saw what happened. This is the mindset of a white man. The colonial mind they have and they carry around still take them to the Indonesia. Imagine you going to a country, you organize a marathon without involving the authority of the country. Every country has its own rule. And now, allegedly, Indonesia banned the white people who are the organizer of those marathons from entering into their country. And it was reported that they actually ran away before they could get the ban on their passport. And that's exactly what is happening. Okay, come to think of it, this is exactly what happening in the South Africa, whereby they name you in the South Africa in the black community, and you not name a street, or let me say part of the street, you do not allow black people. The mindset of a colonial master is still with the white, which is what is happening and what actually got these people into the trouble now. I would like to hear perspective on this same video. Drop your comments and share and like this video with family and friends. And do not forget, we are here to serve you better and we are here to bring you insights about Black American culture, event, and history that really matters. Thank you. See you in the next video.